Hi, in this little video I'm going to talk a bit about space, also known as white space, and all I'm doing is reading out of this awesome book by Nat Cole Publishing, Jamie Campbell, and I'm just reading the page about space. A common error that can be made when laying out a document or a web page site is thinking that every space needs to be filled with something or it is considered a waste. You should never think this way. As a designer, we should be aiming to create space, not fill it. A common phrase to sum this up is less is more. Here's a little example of a picture with lots of white space. Here's another one, quite effective, like most people would have zoomed right in like that, but this person's purposely left some background. Okay, space is a vital element required to separate information in a layout. People can scan, absorb and process information more efficiently when it is presented clearly in separate chunks. If the information is surrounded by clutter, the brain has to work harder to filter out the excess information to find out what is important. Subconsciously, a reader will be drawn towards elements in a layout that have plenty of space surrounding them. Bringing that into the real world a wee bit, the things you want your viewer to see, you should put space around. The term space does not necessarily mean a completely empty area of white space. It may be filled with a colour or a simple background texture, as in the mouse picture. If you were to give someone a page of text that fills an entire sheet of paper from edge to edge, they may agonize over having to read it. However, consider if you presented the same amount of text laid out over 2 pages. This would allow for generous margins, more space between lines of text, and allow more room for pictures. The reader will be more willing and find it easier to read the 2 pages than the single page with exactly the same amount of text. When designing web pages or multimedia productions, take advantage of the fact that empty space does not cost anything. Like in the olden days, if it was a book, you would have had to pay every print of the book costs the price of a sheet of paper, whereas when you're doing it online, it doesn't cost any different, so you might as well use it. Okay, reading the captions. The background of this image has been cleared to create a generous amount of white space. Not only does this create a much more striking image, it also gives the text more impact and helps draw the eye towards the subtle company name which may otherwise be overlooked. A large area of empty space helps to focus the eye towards the subject of an image. The empty space in this instance is a simple textured background. Oh, now these are the sheets of paper they were talking about before, full of text, yuck, don't want to read it. A bit more spaced out, exactly the same amount, but much more pleasant to read. Oh yeah, and there's the blurb saying the exact same thing. And just a second, I'll see if there's any more in the other book about the use of space. Oh my goodness, there's a whole nother page. Okay, this book here is called Introduction to Document Design. Jamie Campbell, isn't that who wrote the other one? Oh, look, same author. Okay, Jamie Campbell and Hugh Durnham, same publisher. I suspect the info is the same, but it might be worded slightly more simply. Okay, create space, don't fill it. Space gives the eye a rest. Space can be used to draw attention to certain elements on a page, and space doesn't always have to be white. And pretty much the same stuff, but same example of the pages of text. They've given us this picture as our comparison this time. It's exactly the same as the one in the other book. And they've given some little tips here. By creating space, you can effectively create a focal point in a layout, give the eye a rest and create a sense of calm, lead the eye, create contrast, separate information, form interesting shapes, or enhance the readability of text. Those are all the kinds of things you could write about in your project. Hope that's helped.